There are two types of women, and if you pick the wrong one, it doesn't matter how good your game is, how attractive you are, or how much money you make, she will destroy you. Not because she's a bad person, not because she's evil, because her brain is literally wired differently than yours. And the scariest part, most men have no idea which type they're dealing with until it's already too late. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to tell them apart from the first interaction, and you're never going to make this mistake again. So we call them Attraction-Centric girl and Comfort-Centric girl. And once you understand this, you're going to start seeing every woman you've ever dated in a completely different light. And it's not about how she looks. The hottest girl you've ever been with can be either type of woman. The real key to this is understanding where does she get her dopamine and serotonin from. Quick understanding of neuroscience. You don't have to be a PhD to follow along here. Dopamine isn't the reward chemical. It's the chasing chemical. It's what you feel in your body when you want to achieve something. A goal, a new promotion, buy the new car. You see a girl walk by and you want to approach her. It's the feeling of chasing something, novelty, excitement. Serotonin is the status chemical, or I belong, I'm safe. Think of serotonin as I'm safe and I matter. It comes from feeling valued within maybe a group as well. And then oxytocin is the bonding chemical for females, especially the I'm yours. When a girl is in love and feels very safe and bonded with her man, oxytocin is flooded in her body and brain. So what you need to be aware of is where is she getting her dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin from? Attraction-centric girls, they get their dopamine and serotonin from external validation, male attention, status, novelty, chaos, likes on their thirst trap photos on their Instagram. Comfort-centric girls, her people, her friends, her hobbies, her family, her intimate, safe world. And you can tell within the first interaction, and definitely from her Instagram, what does she do on a random Tuesday? That is the tell. So, how do you spot an attraction-centric girl? It's pretty easy. Bikini thirst trap heavy. Every photo, we call it the thirst trap to comfort quotient ratio. I think that's what we could used to call it. Essentially, how many out of 10 photos on her Instagram, how many of them are thirst traps? That's a good way to tell if she's an attraction-centric girl. It's funny, this is not really needed for this video, but there also is something called a status shell, introvert, comfort-centric core girl. Think of a girl from like the suburbs who like moved to a city and she's like pretending to be status attraction-centric girl, but like you get her on a date and she's like the sweetest little church girl in the entire world. You know what I mean? Anyway, how do you spot an attraction-centric girl? Bikini thirst trap photos, OnlyFans, designer everything. She has photos of her in random dudes' cars, like a Lambo or a Rolls Royce, and she's like posing with the logo. It's pretty easy to tell what they look like. She's always performing status, travels constantly, and you never know who's with her. Who's paying? First of all, who's with her? Whenever she's traveling, she's always alone or seemingly alone. And then who's paying for this? Who's paying for the private jet and the St. Regis in the Maldives? Or who's paying for the W in Aspen? Who's paying for these places that she's going to? Because she doesn't have a job at all. She doesn't work. She lives on a mattress in a one-bedroom with 3 roommates in West Hollywood. But for some reason, she's at the St. Regis in Aspen. That's interesting, isn't it? One night there is literally what she makes in a month. So I don't know if that can fit her budget. But essentially, they travel constantly, no real job, the path of least resistance to clout. Talks about herself endlessly, exclusively, never asks about you. Going out is her hobby. There are no other hobbies. Avoidant the second you show any sort of real interest. The broke girl moving to Hollywood to become relevant energy. Her dopamine source is male attention, and she knows exactly how to get it. Oh, and also every girl on Seeking Arrangement. Here's where it gets insane. And I want you to stay with me because this is actual neuroscience. This isn't like bro theory and I thought about this and I thought this sounded cool. So let me go over this. This is what's happening inside of the attraction-centric girl's brain. When a girl grows up with an absent father, inconsistent father, or emotionally unavailable father, her brain adapts. The tricky part is she might have a dad who's in her life. And you ask about, hey, how's your relationship with her dad? And she's like, it's great. That doesn't mean she doesn't have daddy issues. Doesn't mean that at all. She is clueless to her daddy issues. If you ask her, she will not say, yes, I have daddy issues. Yes, I have an avoidant dad. Yes, I have an emotionally unavailable dad. She will not say that. So do not listen to her. Because some guys, they're like, oh, yeah, she has a great relationship with her dad. And then she's like the most avoidant girl on the planet. And I'm like, did you listen to her when you asked that? Or did you find out through actual elicitation and observing her behavior? Which one? Her brain adapts to emotionally unavailable or absent or just inconsistent father. Specifically, it does something called oxytocin receptor downregulation. So what this means in plain English, the receptors in her brain, remember the oxytocin from earlier? The receptors in her brain that are supposed to receive love and bonding and intimacy with a primary attachment figure, like her dad, they shrink. They become less sensitive. In her formative years, her brain learned this is not a valuable receptor. This is not a valuable neurotransmitter. Downregulate it. It's useless. Don't use it. Because her nervous system learned early closeness equals danger, vulnerability equals pain. She learned that at a young age, from 0 to 12 years old. That's what her brain learned. So to survive, her brain compensates. It upregulates dopamine-seeking behavior instead. Novelty, external validation, status, new men, the club, likes, the bikini photos, that's not her personality. That is her nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do to keep her safe. Now, here's why this destroys men. Men bond through vasopressin. I know stay with me. There's only 4. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and vasopressin. Those are the only 4 you need to worry about. We already covered the first. Quick TLDR. Dopamine. It makes you chase stuff. It's not a reward chemical. It's not endorphins. It makes you want to chase something. You really want to go attract a girl. You're like excited for a date. Dopamine is high. You have a goal to buy a car and you're like this close to getting it. Dopamine is high in your body. There's a lot of dopamine. It makes you chase stuff. Serotonin makes you feel belong, like you feel good. You feel content. Right? The status of I'm safe and I matter. It makes you feel good about yourself, right? In a long-term way, not like a short-term way. Oxytocin, especially for girls, when they're flooded with oxytocin, especially like when you're cuddling with them or they feel praise from you, it floods in their body and they feel bonded to you, right? Girls feel bonded to you with oxytocin high in their body, right? That's the whole reason evolution made oxytocin so girls feel bonded to man. When I feel warmth and protection from my man, I feel bonded. So I stay with man. That's what evolution did. Now, that doesn't work for men, though. Vasopressin is what keeps men bonded. Now, the majority of the time, vasopressin gets flooded in your body after you have sex or a girl is desiring you. Just understand those 4. That's it. Vasopressin is what keeps men bonded with women after sex. Oxytocin, what keeps women bonded with men when they're flooded with reassurance, warmth, and provision, protection, all the stuff. My man cares about me. He shows me attention. Serotonin is I belong, I'm safe, I matter. And then dopamine, I want more. I'm chasing something, right? I want the thing. And when a man gets attached to a woman, he can attach pretty hard and fast. The vasopressin is activated, sex, and then doing things for your female. She rewards you and appreciates you with intimacy and desires you. That's vasopressin. And love is not vague or like a mystery of what love is. Love equals through the roof vasopressin and also high dopamine and serotonin's high in a man. That's love. Women love is oxytocin high, serotonin high. That's love. And dopamine high. That's love. There's no like magical Disney princess. What is love? What does it mean to you? It doesn't mean shit other than your neurochemicals are flooded. Oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. Notice I said all 3. I didn't say only 2. I didn't say only 1. I said all 3. The problem is, men, vasopressin gets released after sex and you can get attached. You can feel the pull towards this girl and you think she feels it too. But with the attraction-centric girl, she has blunted oxytocin receptors. So it's not firing the same way it is for your vasopressin than it is for her oxytocin. They're literally like not sensitive. They don't work properly. They're literally blunted. Does that make sense? She can't pair bond with you at the same depth that you can with her. And you might feel completely in love with her, right? You want to give her the world, the flowers and the car and the house, the kids, all the things. She just feels a dopamine hit. When you become familiar, the dopamine goes down to 0 and she doesn't desire you anymore. You don't need a neuroscience degree to understand what I just told you and what this means. It means she's neurologically incapable of bonding with you the way you can bond with her. And that asymmetry is the trap. This is how to spot the comfort-centric girl. I imagine like devil, the path to like demons and like red lava for the attraction-centric girl over here. And then the butterflies and the road to the meadow and like beautiful birds chirping for the comfort-centric girl. The problem is they both can be attractive physically. The Jezebel one can be really attractive in your exact type. You think that's going to mess you up a little bit? Probably, right? But anyway, how do you spot the comfort-centric girl? The only girl you should ever actually want to date and marry and have kids with and invest your fucking life into. How do we spot her, Corey? Her Instagram is tasteful. It isn't filled with fucking thirst traps. She has hobbies. She has friends, a small set of friends, not dozens of them that are superficial that she's taking a photo with at a fucking bar at a club. Not that. Friends where they're at apple picking. They're like in a meadow. They took photos. They went to church, right? They're outdoors. They like to hike. They have an actual life that looks like fun and fulfilling. They have family. There's no thirst traps. You can tell what she does on the weekend, and it's not the club. It's not a bar. She's not day drinking on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. because she's still hungover. The hair of the dog bullshit. Horses, hiking, book club, family dinners, her people. She has people that she actually values, and she isn't pissed off and resentful towards all of them. She's not using them for clout. What she also does is she asks about you. Genuinely, she actually wants to know. She's curious about your life, especially if you have a cool Instagram. She gets her serotonin from belonging to a nice family. She has good friends that actually care about her, that are actually good friends. They ask about her and they show genuine support, praise, and reassurance towards her. And they're there for her emotionally, not just there sabotaging, right? She has routine, closeness, safety. She might be anxious. She might need reassurance, but her baseline is bonding. Her oxytocin receptors are intact. Let me map this to their attachment styles because this is where it gets nuanced and where most men get it completely wrong. Attraction-centric women are almost always avoidant or disorganized, chaos-based. Avoidant means intimacy fires cortisol. It activates cortisol in her body, in her nervous system. And that means whenever you are close, intimate with that girl, she runs away. She gets afraid. She thinks there's a lion in the area. If you don't know, cortisol is like the on-guard alert, right? Like the stress is back in the evolutionary days, like cortisol would flood when there's a lion in the area and you don't see it. It's not right in front of you. But you feel anxious because it is around here somewhere. That's the kind of the perpetual anxiety feeling that some people feel when their serotonin is low. But the closer you get, the more she needs to escape. Most avoidant girls don't fix this. Even if they realize they had daddy issues, they have downregulated oxytocin receptors, they still don't fix it. You're going to be dealing with that. Imagine, and you might be like, oh, that's not really an issue right now. Imagine you're dating a girl for 4 months and you really like her. You really bonded to her. You had the whole exclusive conversation, whatever the fuck, you're dating this girl. One night you had a really good night, took her to dinner, came back to your place, you guys slept together, she slept over. And then all of a sudden she ghosts you for 4 days with no text, no, hey, I need to go process some things. I'll be back in a little bit. Nothing, just ghosts you. For no reason and doesn't tell you why. And then you try to reach out, doesn't respond to you. How are you going to feel 2 years in that relationship? You marry that girl. And then all of a sudden, the closer you get to her, the more she runs away the next day for multiple days. Sometimes it can last a week of an avoidant girl running away from you. And you did nothing wrong. Is that fair for your serotonin levels and your vasopressin? You think you're going to feel bonded to a girl when she runs away? Good luck training her mammalian brain to fix that because you think you could logically tell her things? No, good fucking luck. The mammalian brain that is hundreds of millions of years old is way more developed in prominent in her body than her neocortex. And her prefrontal cortex, her like logical brain of her logically understanding things, is 10% of her behavior. 90% is she has no clue why. It's all chemicals. Disorganized attachment style girls, the chaos-based ones, is the festival girl. The one that goes out a lot, the love bomber. She pulls you in hard and then disappears the second it gets real. She's nowhere near as bad as the avoidant because at least the disorganized will be intense. There is some happy middle ground of understanding their duality of being terrified of intimacy, but also craving it at the same time. Avoidants are similar, but they're more of a lost cause unless they really work on themselves. And again, think of an avoidant girl as catch flights, not feelings. Does he make 6 figures? Is he 6 feet tall? You see how they throw all these traps and these shameful requirements to date them? And meanwhile, they're like the most traumatized, emotionally unavailable girls in the entire world, and they're hanging on by a thread with their looks. Some of them that even have looks. And it's like, no one would ever want to date you. If anything, a beta male would want to sleep with you for one night. They would never want to date you. Like, these girls literally think any sort of male attention is the guy wanting to wife them up. It's like, how delusional are you? No man wants to wife anybody up at all at the beginning. Of course not. Wants to sleep with you once and never see you again. And this girl is like, catch flight's not feeling. He got to be 6 feet tall. It's okay. The guy who was 6 feet tall that slept with you, you're not dating him. So like, he just ran through you and we're supposed to be attracted to that? No one is attracted to that, and no one wants to date you if you're an avoidant attachment style girl who's like shameful, clearly has daddy issues. But the comfort-centric girls, the ones you actually want to date and marry, the attachment styles they have, they're secure or anxious, or what I call a disorganized stability-based girl, right? If a girl is secure, it's easy mode. I'll rank the difficulties. Easiest is secure. Next is anxious. The next one is avoidant. And then the hardest one by far is disorganized. Holy fuck. Again, because they crave the closeness, but once they get it, they fear it at the same time. So it's just like gas and brakes always. It's literally relationship on hard mode. And the reason it's fun is because it's the most intense, passionate love you'll ever feel in your entire life. Those are the girls that are like, you own me, if you get it right. So it's this high risk, high reward. But secure is best case for most people, most guys, because they don't have to deal with fucking neurochemistry and polarity dynamics all day and keeping this girl interested in her dopamine high while showing her love at the same time. Good luck, unless you follow our videos. But the secure girl, she bonds cleanly. There's no games. Anxious means she craves the bond intensely, but gets scared she's going to lose it. So it's cute. The problem with the anxious girls is they do these what's called protest behaviors. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight or didn't give the anxious girl what she wanted immediately. She's going to whip out some fucking, what's it called? The quiver? The arrows in her quiver. And she's going to fucking shoot you with some shit. She's going to go, yeah, I'm running away. Or she's going to ghost you for like 3 hours because she couldn't handle not talking to you for more than 3 hours. Or she's going to give you the silent treatment, or the passive or active silent treatment. It's called stonewalling, right? She'll throw all these tricks and then like manipulate you with like, oh yeah, well, I guess you never cared about me. That just means she likes you. She loves you, right? Obviously you got to set boundaries with all that, but that's easier to deal with than the avoidant girl who just runs away. And you literally can't access her 4 days minimum emotionally. You have to set boundaries when they come back. It's a whole nightmare. I do not recommend dating an avoidant attachment style girl. Anyway, the anxious girl. She needs a strong man who leads, right? This, again, it's one of the hardest ones that's worth dating, but they're still completely wifeable. So the wifeable column is secure, anxious, and disorganized girls, certain kind of disorganized. The unwifeable, certain kind of disorganized, and almost every avoidant attachment style girl ever. Again, unless they work on themselves, but it's very rare that happens. The man is the one who's directing us on the path, right? And in charge of everything in the relationship. She does not want to be in charge. So if you're dating an avoidant attachment style girl, you have to be in charge of setting the conditions so she changes. So her oxytocin kind of kicks back into gear. Now, here's the one that trips most men up. Like I said earlier, disorganized, stability-based, because disorganized sounds like they run away, but it depends entirely on what created the disorganization. There's a massive difference between a girl whose disorganization came from chaos and a girl who grew up in a wholesome environment with an emotionally passive or withholding father. Church, family, cats, dogs, community. Her baseline is bonding activities, not dopamine chaos. When she gets dysregulated, she goes to the barn, not the club. That woman with the right man who leads well and doesn't flood her with unrestricted, unlimited attention, reassurance, and nonsense becomes the most loyal woman you've ever had in your entire life. Most men can't do it, but now at least you know it's possible. So here's the mistake most guys make. You're talking to and or dating a girl that might be the hottest girl you've ever gotten. That's the whole trap. You might have no other options, so you can't walk. You try to outlove a neurological pattern that was set before she was 10 years old. And you think if you love her hard enough, she'll finally feel safe. She'll finally get it. She'll finally fall in love with you. Guess what? She doesn't. Her receptors aren't built for it. You can try to set boundaries all you want, but you can't, because boundaries require her to have something real to lose. In that case, with the avoidant attachment style girl, you're a dopamine hit. When you stop being exciting, you just get replaced with something else that's more novel. This is not a strategy problem. This is a selection problem. So here's the bottom line. Attraction-centric women, do not date them. Do not try to wife them up. Do not think you're the exception. Her oxytocin receptors downregulation means she cannot pair bond at the depth you can. You will feel everything. You'll feel vasopressin. You'll feel bonded to that girl after you sleep with her, after you do things for her and she appreciates you. And she will feel the bond significantly less. And that is not a character flaw. That is neuroscience. You cannot love your way out of someone else's neurobiology. Comfort-centric girls, however, on the other hand, over here, again, like the road to hell and the devil. Just think of like rap music, going to the club, wearing their like insanely short mini skirt. Do you guys see the new Kim? I think it's Kim K. The like crazy top, which is like it's just like a bit of string. Like they're wearing no clothes at the club and it's 20 degrees outside in New York City. They're freezing to death and waiting outside in a line for an hour and a half. Those are the girls I'm talking about, staying very far away from. That's the hell. But the heaven, which is like butterflies and rainbows and birds and the meadow, and it's all grass and green. There's a farm, there's a cow, just like chewing. The horse runs by, the deer. You don't want to scare the deer away, right? So comfort-centric girls, secure, anxious, and the right kind of disorganized. These are the women worth your time, your investment, your commitment. They are neurologically built for the kind of relationship you actually want. The most important decision you'll ever make in your dating life is not how good your game is. It's who you choose to run it on.